Do you know what a career is? What's a career? Oh, it's the third day. What's a career? Yes.
From Dr. Joe to the high school, a career is a profession that a person wishes to pursue.
Yes, you are correct, right? So a career is a professional journey. It's an ongoing professional journey that goes under consistent and constant development. Right? If you're in a career, awuvele nje ukuthiwa unomsebenzi kuphela. On a career, uhleli udevelopa, uhleli ufunda kwi-career yakho. But why should you have a career? Why don't you just apply for Ramaphosa's 370 relief funds after you're done with matric? Why should you have a career? So a career is important because when you have a career, you make a difference. Right? You make a difference in your personal life. You make a difference in the lives of your families. You make a difference in the industries that you are going to be working in. And you make a difference in your communities. Do we agree with all that?
Yes.
Right? You all agree with that?
Yes.
Wholeheartedly?
Yes.
Okay. But why do you really want a career? Why do you really want a career? Very good. Very well. It's not wrong to want imali. We all have to make a living. Right? So, then my next question to you is, what is money? Or what does it mean to have imali? What does it mean to you to have money? What is money? Why should we have money? Yes, sir. What is money?
Money is an someone igama Victor ngifunda la eJindlovu kwamashu. Money is an object that we use to cover up every single needs, and all our needs and wants.
Right, that's good. Yes, so money is something we use to get our needs and wants. And when I say it's something we use, that means it's a tool, right?
Yes.
Right? We've all had money before.
Yes.
Right? Yes. We've all had money before. And money is a tool that we use. But like any tool, you need the skills and the knowledge in order for you to use that tool effectively. Mungenalo ulwazi lokuthi imali isetshenziswa kanjani. Ngiyikwenzele lutho. Ngisho ngakunika malini. If you don't believe me, there's a show that plays on Mzansi Magic. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. The show that plays on Mzansi Magic, right? Where ama individuals akhona kule show lena baphunyela izumbulu zemali. Right? And then after a very short time, they pay. So the people you see on I Blew It, do you think they had the skills and the knowledge on how to use their money effectively? No. Even though they had a lot of money and it, right? So that's what I'm here to talk about with you today. How do we use our money effectively? Because yes, you're not exactly financially free. You're not managing your own money, but you're getting very close. Right? In a year or two, in about a year or 2 years, some of you are going to get a taste of freedom for the first time.
Yes.
Which means you will have a taste of responsibility for the first time. You will be responsible for putting food in your own stomach. You'll be responsible for buying your own groceries, your own toiletries. And what we've seen is many young people, many students, particularly in the first year, and people at the beginning of their careers, tend to get too excited when they get money. They're excited, Kakul. There's so much that you've wanted from your youth. Once, right? That's what many people do. They start with their wants and they don't start with their needs. So it's important, one, to know the difference between needs and wants. I don't think I have to go through that with you. Right? We all know what needs and wants are. Okay, so I want you to look at my screen up here quickly. Right, so there's 4 images on the screen right now. Grade 11s. Top grade 11s. I want you to tell me, green, let's go 4. Which one of these images best describes your financial situation today? Hey! That was unanimous. Hey! I don't have who big, maybe. Balancing, critical, stable. None of you feel like you're in CNT. Nobody's cruising nicely. No, but
It's cool, big.
ladies and gentlemen, niyayithole nje imali kwenzeka kanjani ukuthi nibe ku-A?
20 rand.
You're at A because the money you spend, you don't know how to spend it. That's correct. Right? You're not using your money effectively. You think that but there's someone out there who would give their left arm to have the life that you have now. Right? So you all feel like you're at A. That's fine, right? So, like I said before, money is important in our lives, but money is also a part of every aspect of our lives. Imali ingxenye yazo zonke izigaba zempilo. Right? Think about it. Physical well-being. You're probably healthier on your mind, yeah? What about your spiritual well-being? Right? You're probably spiritually healthier. On your mind, yeah? We have the confidence that's on to it on your mind. Right? Even your social well-being. Is it not easier to see friends and family on your mind? Even emotionally, right? Emotionally, money has an effect on your emotions. Think about how you feel when you don't have money versus how you feel when you do. And so money has such an effect on our lives. Why wouldn't you do your best to use money effectively? That's what I want to talk about with you guys today. Right? The only part of our lives la imali ngadingeki khona sothando wena ngithi. You don't need money for love. Even love needs money. Okay. Right. So because many of you are going to start your career journeys quite soon, if you look at this pyramid I have up here for you, I don't want you to look at the top 3 levels. The bottom 2 levels, and there's a reason why they're at the bottom, because that is the foundation of how you are supposed to effectively use your money. Imali phela guys umthethwayo ukuthi uyonke bese ikulonda. Right? The whole existence of money is there to make society's life easier. But for some reason, money gives us all a headache, huh?
Yes.
Right, so I want you to look at the first 2 levels from the bottom. When you start your career journeys, it'll be you managing your money. It'll be you who has the financial freedom. It will be you who decides. No one can tell you what you're going to do with your money. Whether it's an allowance from your parents, whether it's an allowance from NSFAS, whether it's a bursary, whether it's a stipend, whatever. That money is yours. And nobody gets to tell you what to do with your money. So right now, you are financially free. But if you manage your money effectively, you can find yourself in a situation where you end up building yourself a safety net. What is a safety net? You guys ever seen tightrope walking before on social media, on TV, maybe at a circus or something? Right? So tightrope walking from point A to point B. Right? It's a net, right? Leyo net leyo eyokuthi uma kwenzeka awe angalimala ngithi. Right, so managing your money effectively and building your safety net essentially looks like this. Right, if we're gonna put it in terms of imagery, if I can give you a visual of what it looks like to manage your money, this is what it should look like. And this is a habit you can start now. Ake nisifundiseni ukuthi leyo mali engiyitholayo akube nento engiyibekayo ngamabomu nje, even if kuyimali encane thola iqoqoqoqo nje ufake can be ufeza, but as long as you start getting into the habit of building your safety net, by the time you begin your career journeys, you will have this habit and your financial lives will look like this. Right? How many of us, by show of hands, can say this is what managing my money looks like? Anyone? Oh, even the speakers, nobody's putting their hands up. Hey, cool. Okay. How many of you guys say it looks more like this? No plan, no balance, no safety net. Right? So I want to talk about how we can avoid being in that situation. We are full. I want to talk about how we can avoid that situation. So first things first, you need to have a goal in your life. Now I'm sure you guys have talked about having a vision or goal setting earlier this week. I'm sure you spoke about it, so I'm not going to be down on this topic. But if you're going to have a good financial journey, it's important to know the direction you're headed in.
Yes.
Right? So you need to be smart about the goals you set for yourself. In goal, one, it has to be specific. It is a your goal must be clear, particularly when it comes to money. But you all have the same goal for 2026 again. Yes. That is to pass matric well. Who said oh? Yes, it's to pass your grade 11 well, sorry. Right? That's the goal we have. So your goal must be specific. Your goal must be measurable. You must be able to see your progress in the goals that you set for yourself. Your goals must be achievable and realistic. Akube semandleni akho. Ungathi wena uthi ufuna ukuthola 100% uzo zonke izifundo zakho ungakafiki na 80. Yabona into engisho, start small. Angisho ukuthi ufike lo 100, but unyaka mude, 4 terms. Start with what you can do. Move on from there. Lastly, your goal must be timeless. Fanele uzibekele isikhathi. So ukuthi uzofika nini kuleyo mgomo leyo. You have to give yourself a deadline. You can't just say one day this is what I want my goal to be. One day this is where I want to be in life. No. You should by 2031 I want to have my qualification. I want to start my career. Right? So it has to be timeless. Once you've set your goal, then it becomes so much clearer what I should be doing with my money. Because now you've put a vision there, you've put a direction. Now it's easy now to know what you need and what you don't need. Huh? It's easier to differentiate between needs and wants once you've set your goals. Right? So after setting your goals, it's important that you have a plan of what you're going to do with your money. No matter how little it is, you can plan on how to spend your money. You guys know what that's called, right? A spending plan? Right? It's called a budget. That's all a budget is. It's a spending plan. It's just about how much money I'm expecting to come in, and the expenses I'm expecting to spend my money on. Now, a budget looks like this. This is a template of a budget. It doesn't have to look like this exactly, but it can look like this. Right? So you have your income. What's an example of income? It's your salary, wages. If you're self-employed, it's business proceeds. Huh? If you're a student, it might be NSFAS. If you're over the retirement age, it might be a public pension or a public grant, right? Right? And to those other guest speakers that are here, I'm not talking to you, but to the guest speakers, those who have very generous partners, they also get a kind of allowance, don't they? That's also income, you can budget on that, but that's asiko now. Right? And then you have your expenses. By the way, budget yakho uyenza ungakayitholi imali. Says one, you don't do a budget after you receive your money. You do this before. Because you'll find yourself having what we call a post-mortem budget. You know what a post-mortem budget is? Post-mortem budget, it's like when somebody passes away and they do an autopsy to check what the cause of death was, right? That's what the same thing as a post-mortem budget. Ubudget imali soyidlile. Angithi iningi lethu lento esiyenzayo. We get excited when we get our money. Then we spend, and now we want a budget on what's left over. Because we waited till we got our money to plan on how to spend it. So you do this before you get your money. Right? We have your fixed, variable, and discretionary expenses. Fixed expenses are those expenses that don't change. They remain the same every month. Right? A good example would be rent, school fees, any installments you might be paying. And then you have your variable expenses. Your variable expenses are those expenses that change month on month. All the time. They're never the same, right? You don't buy the same data every month, huh? You don't buy the same amount of airtime, groceries, toiletries, right? And then we have your discretionary expenses. Those are the expenses you don't incur every month. Maybe once a year. A good example of that would be a TV license, for example. Huh? Or your textbooks at school, right? You probably buy that once or twice a month. Now, let's say you've done your budget and you find that your planned expenses are more than the income. What should you do? Yeah. Sorry? Invest somewhere, okay? Is there anyone else? Yeah. Take out the things that you don't need, things that aren't important from your budget. Did you guys hear that? Yes. Right? If you find that you have more expenses than income, then you change your expenses. Or is it the income that should increase?
No.
Should we get more money?
Oh, yes.
Okay, now I'll ask you another question, right? We've got B, C, and D, your monthly, variable, and discretionary expenses. Which do you think is the easiest to change? It's C, right? That is correct. C would be the easiest to change. Right? Do you see what you have to do in order to start managing your money effectively? Right? Do you see where I'm going with this? And I won't lie to you. It looks easy. Right? Right now, it looks easy when you don't have the money. It's very easy to talk about. But I can tell you now, people who have money, they don't want to have this conversation. The people who have money, they don't want to talk about this. And that's why we have a problem in this country, where our citizens are not managing their money effectively. Now, let's say you've got income left over. Now your income is more than your planned expenses.
Surplus.
You have a surplus, yes. What should happen then? Save. I'm so glad you guys came up with that answer on your own. I'm very happy. Because we talked about a safety net before, right?
Yes.
This is how you create your safety net. And we again have a problem in this country where we do not have a culture of saving. Right? That became painfully evident in the beginning of 2020, and that was about March. And the COVID pandemic hit us, and it became clear that salary earners are not saving, businesses are not saving, people on pension are not saving. We get our money and we spend it. We don't have a culture where we put money away. Right? So, who can tell me why is it important to save money? Or a reason. Just give me a reason why you should save. Yeah. Okay, yes. So you can give him a round of applause. What else should we save? Yeah. For unforeseen circumstances, I'm going to give you a round of applause. Why else should we save money?
For emergency
That
situations.
one, but we spoke about it just now. Yes.
Just in case your income is less than
Okay, yeah, loss of income, that's correct. Let's give that a hand. But we spoke about goal setting, didn't we? And it's important to save so that you can achieve your goals, particularly your financial goals. And again, I'm telling you, at this stage, you're not exactly financially free, but you can start those habits now. Make a small goal and save towards it. See how satisfied you'll be with yourself once you make it big. Right now, I don't want to be too long with you, so I'm going to move on quickly. There's just one more topic I want to talk about with you, and this is very important because, again, we have this problem where not just the youth now. A lot of people don't understand what credit means. Have you guys ever heard of credit before? What is credit? It's credit, huh? It's credit. Right now, in this digital age that we are in, and many of you next year or the year after that, you're going to turn 18, which means you will be legally an adult, which means by law you will be allowed to start taking on credit, taking on debt. But do you know what that means? Right? Tata is quality. All it means is there's something you want today, but you cannot afford it today. But you're gonna get it today, and then you will pay it back over time. Right? And there's a charge. There's something you'll be charged for that. Like, do you know what it is? Interest, right? Hey, you guys really are top performers, you know, okay? Okay, I'm gonna be very quick now. Alright, so you guys all know what interest is. I don't have to explain the concept to you.
Yes.
Right, now let me ask you something. If you do not pay your debts back, what happens?
You get blacklisted.
You get blacklisted. Well, no, you don't get blacklisted. That's, blacklisted is something else. But yeah, if it gets bad enough, you can get blacklisted, right? But generally what happens is you have a poor credit record. Igama lakho liba libi. Liyangcola igama lakho. Mase lingcolile igama lakho kuba njani?
Unable to.
Awusasizakala ndawo. Very good. Now, let's say izikweletu zakho uyazikhokhela kahle. You pay in full, you pay on time. Kuba njani ke lapho?
The credit score.
Uyaba negama elihle, credit score yakhuphuka, uyathembeka. Kulula ke lapho ukuthi ezindaweni usizakala. And again, we see this all the time at the bank. Young professionals come in when they were still students. They took on all of these offers because they were there. They didn't understand what they were agreeing to. Right? I'm sure even now you guys have cell phones. You get SMSs offering you loans. Right? You've seen that before. Right? But and a lot of you think you know what that means. But really, what are you agreeing to when you take on a loan? Yini lo yikhuluma? Yini lo sibophezela kuyona? And then years later, you forget, you opened a store account, you took on a credit card, now you're working, you're a professional, you want to now start making your dream come true. You want to buy the dream house, you want to buy your dream car. You come to us and we tell you, we ufuna uphaka wena esitolo, so ufuna ukuthenga imoto manje. Wathatha isikweletu esincane wena sakusula, uzoyimela kanjani imoto? So it's important for you guys to be careful, to understand what credit is and to understand what you're agreeing to. So before you enter into any credit agreement, I want you to ask 2 questions. This is now for your personal life. This is not a test on paper. And it's unlikely that they'll teach you this in school. First things first, you ask, what is my principal debt? How much do I owe you? And you ask this before you agree, before you put pen to paper. Before, and we do things on the phone now, so before you take those terms and conditions. If I borrow you 100 rand, if the bank borrows you 100 rand, do you owe 100 rand?
No.
Why? Because of interest. Alright, so you really do know what it is. Right? Secondly, you need to ask, how long do you expect me to pay this debt for? What is my term? If you can just get to ask these 2 questions, it'll become very clear to you whether or not it's worth it to take on this debt. Because you'll get an offer and they'll say, hey, come and get an iPhone 17 Pro Max. And you'll see the purchase price is 30,000, but they only want a little bit from you month on month. But if you just ask these 2 questions, how much will I owe you once I agree to this? And how long do you expect me to pay? Then you'll know whether or not it's worth it to enter into that credit agreement. Right? Now, one last thing. I spoke about your cell phones. Is there anyone here who doesn't have a cell phone? Okay, but there are those of you who do have cell phones. Right? So we have in a digital age now where a lot of people are going to try and take advantage of you because you don't understand what's happening in this digital age. There's a lot of cybercrime out there. So I just want to leave you with this. When it comes to your phones, be careful what links you are opening. Be careful what you put on social media platforms because it will never go away. You know that? When you delete something, it's only gone for you. If someone really wants to get it back, they will. Be careful which Wi-Fi's you connect to. Let me tell you something. Every time you connect to free Wi-Fi, there's a little tick at the bottom that says T's and C's, right? Then there's a small link for you to download. How many of us are downloading that link and reading the terms and conditions? We aren't. And do you know what one of the conditions in that little document is? They will tell you, by taking this, you agree that we share your information with telemarketers. That's why you have young people being called by call centers now, selling them insurance, selling them debt, because you have agreed for your information to be shared. So, just want to leave you with this. Download that terms and conditions and search for keywords like what you are agreeing to. Who and where will my information be shared? Okay. Thank you so much for your time, ladies and gentlemen. It was an absolute pleasure to be with you.